Have you noticed that almost every large stand you see is now turning into cluster houses? This is not a coincidence. It's policy, economics, and demand all working together. Now let me break it down for you and show you what is really happening. Across major cities like Harare and Bulawayo, cluster developments are rising rapidly. You can see them everywhere. New gated communities popping up in suburbs that once had spacious single-family homes. But this shift is not random. It's driven by one key concept, that is densification. Zimbabwe's constitution speaks clearly about access to accommodation for citizens. It's a right that must be balanced with practical reality. Now, at the same time, land, especially agricultural land, is finite. It's limited. We can't just keep spreading cities into the countryside without consequences. So when you drive along roads like Kariba, you still see productive farms, fields of crops, livestock, agricultural activity that feeds the nation. Now, the government does not want urban sprawl to consume farmland that supports food production and drives a critical part of the economy. Policy now encourages building within existing boundaries, densifying what we already have. Now is the reality we are facing. The population keeps growing. More and more people are moving into cities every single year for work, for business, for opportunity, for better access to services. On top of that, diaspora investors are also buying property back home. They want a foothold in the market, whether for family or for future return. So if the city cannot expand outward, it must grow upward and inward. There is simply no other way to accommodate everyone. That is where cluster houses come in. A residential stand that is 1,000 square meters or more can be subdivided under current zoning regulations. Instead of one large home for a single family, the same piece of land can now accommodate multiple units, often anywhere from 4 to 8 homes, each sitting on a smaller land portions of like 300 to 500 square meters. Now, you could be asking, why does this make economic sense? Because expanding cities is expensive. Extending new roads, sewer systems, water lines, electricity substations, all of that costs millions of dollars. But building clusters inside established suburbs makes use of existing infrastructure. The roads are already there, the pipes are already laid, the power lines are already connected. Of course, councils must still ensure that infrastructure can handle the increased load. That's a responsibility they cannot ignore. Now let's talk about market demand, because the buyers are driving this just as much as policy. Today's buyers, they want this thing: security, gated communities within controlled access and perimeter walls, lower maintenance compared to large properties that require gardening, staff, and constant upkeep. This is not for everyone, by the way. And also they want modern finishes, updated kitchens, bathrooms, and contemporary design. Some they want investment potential properties that can generate rental income or appreciate in value. Clusters offer all of this. They check every box. They are often more affordable than standalone houses in the same suburb, which makes them accessible to a wider market, and they are easier to rent out, especially to young professionals and small families. So in summary, cluster houses are being built because of limited land availability, defined urban boundaries that protect agricultural zones, a growing urban population that needs housing, cost efficiency in infrastructure and development, strong buyer demand for security, convenience, and modern living. This is not just a trend that will fade, it's an urban planning strategy meeting real estate market forces head on. And as the market continues to evolve, one question remains: will infrastructure keep up with the pace of development? Are our water systems, our roads, our power grids ready for this kind of density? That's the conversation we need to have next. Leave your comment in the comment section, share, repost, and follow me for real estate updates in Zimbabwe. Ciao.